Hi there, my name is Val Heminger, and I am the owner of Pathway Legal and one of its founders. Not all families have the same resources. And if your family has medium or high net worth, you want to be able to get through your separation and divorce process with having more of your assets intact rather than less. In our experience, what you want to do is you want to be able to be guided through your separation and divorce process in an effective way that gets you from A to B. The thing to remember is that in family law, there are an unlimited amount of rabbit holes to pursue. At Pathway Legal, we keep our eye on the prize. And when I say that, the goal. What is the goal? You want a fully clear, delineated, defined separation agreement or court order that makes everybody's obligations clear, makes everyone's rights clear, makes all the expectations clear, so there's no questions about that. I'm just going to give you an example. Our firm is dealing with a matter where the parties are fairly high conflict and have some net worth, some significant net worth. What happened is that one of the parties had never ever cooperated with anything at all, ever. Meanwhile, what happened is that the previous lawyers went to court, worked like crazy to get an agreement. They finally get a court order setting out everybody's obligations. But guess what? They didn't have any timelines on any of it. So now it's a couple of years later, and one of the spouses is still left holding the bag with no resolution, with the assets that were supposed to be transferred to them not transferred to them, with the safety net that they were supposed to have with no safety net, and then having to rehire counsel again so that we can see the matter to the conclusion. So that's the kind of thing that you want to ensure when you're hiring your lawyer, is that you're getting from A to B, getting to the goal. The goal being, how are we going to parent our kids? What's our parenting plan look like? You know, if we have a disagreement, how are we going to resolve that disagreement? What's the schedule like? And is it going to change at any point? How are we going to divide our stuff? What is the most financially intelligent way to ensure that we keep more money in our family and in a way that distributes the assets appropriately? For example, sometimes, particularly in Victoria, selling a home and then taking the equity out of it and going buying another one can actually kind of not necessarily be the right thing to do. For some people, they have a mortgage helper, for example, and actually keeping the home ends up being less expensive, and actually particularly during the COVID days, keeping the resource within the family during a period of time when the markets have gone down. So the thing is what you want is you want a lawyer who A, is not afraid to consult with other people, a financial advisor or your advisors, but you also want someone who's going to be able to get you to the goal. The third part of what you want to have an agreement about is, what are the support obligations, and are they clearly defined? Another matter we had was a situation where the parents there was special expenses to be paid over and above the guideline amount of support. And the problem was the parents could never agree as to what the special expenses were to be and what was appropriate. The payor felt that what the recipient was asking for was too much. The recipient was frustrated because the payor never paid anything whatsoever, not a dime towards special expenses. And yet there was no mechanism in the agreement to assist with resolving that problem. Here's the thing that we know at Pathway Legal. When people are going through a separation or divorce, their temperatures are often quite high because people are afraid life's going to look different. They don't know how much they're going to have to pay. They don't know how much, if they're going to be able to live on what they have left. And they're certainly having a lifestyle change. Everybody has a lifestyle change. And so what you want is you want to have a very, very clear agreement at the end of the day. And when I say agreement, what I'm saying is we always start with kid gloves at Pathway Legal. And what I mean by that is that we try to resolve the matter first before doing anything else, before rushing off to court. We use court as a last resort, not a first resort. And yet, having said that, we want to ensure that there is some kind of a process set that could be court, or it could be a mediation arbitration process where you end up with a clear resolution. Because here's what we know. In my almost 25 years of doing this, I have never had a client come to us and say, you know what? I've now separated from my spouse and I would like to spend the next 4 years obsessing about my case with that spouse. I would like to spend a huge chunk of my resources fighting with my ex-spouse. And I would like to make sure that 5 years from now, we will never be able to even remotely be friends again in any way, not even for the benefit of our children, and forget about going to our kids' weddings together, because if they're going, I'm not going. We've never had that happen. So at Pathway Legal, what we want to do is help you get from A to B to the goal as efficiently as possible. If you want to contact us, call us 250-220-8686, or you can notify us down here.